Culp, publisher and CEO at CUInsight.com, and I'm bringing you a 3 questions video interview today. I'm excited for the next installment in the series. Joining me is Brian Keefe, the Senior Presales Consultant at NICE Actimize. We are going to talk about fraud and threats, I know, on everyone's mind right now. Brian, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to talk with everybody today.
Absolutely. Well, let's dive in here with spring in full swing and summer right around the corner. What are maybe the new or refined fraud threats and scams that we can expect to see?
That's a great question. In the seasons, it's always changing from winter, spring, summer, and fall. The bad actors, they're always out there. They
Yeah.
never take a vacation. They don't go to the beach. They don't take ski trips in the mountain. They're always causing havoc regardless of the season and regardless of the time of day, whether it be morning, noon, or night. And the consumer and the credit unions need to adapt and adopt those same sort of mindsets to keep pace with these fraudsters out there. So I think with summer coming up or transitioning from spring, you see at the same time you may with the holiday season. People a little more relaxed, they're visiting family and friends, maybe taking a vacation, and they just want to unwind with the daily grind. And that usually equates to letting their guard down, which makes them more susceptible to fraud. And let me give you a couple of examples, if you don't mind. Say you're traveling with family and friends. You traditionally either go in the railroad station or the airports. You connect to the Wi-Fi there because it's quicker. Maybe you have to do a work call, or you just want to browse the web. That makes you more susceptible to identity theft through the compromised Wi-Fi, maybe that you logged into. You didn't use a VPN. And that also does with the device compromises, where now they're pulling off the data from your device, credit card numbers, passwords, other PII that people wouldn't know naturally unless they had your device. So that's one angle. We do a lot of working from home now. With the spring and summer weather out there, people want to get out of the house, get out of the office, and maybe do something from a coffee shop or a restaurant. That's where you expose yourself as well with the devices you use. If you don't use a proper security channels, the VPNs, you see that again with device compromises and identity theft. But let me get back to your first question that you had talked about. What are we seeing for a particular threat? One that really surfaces today and is sort of based around identity theft piece is synthetic identity fraud. And a little background on that, it involves fabricating a new identity with a combination or mixture of falsified information as well as authentic information. And that leads into sort of a subcategory, which is the new account fraud piece. We see this a lot with our conversations with the credit unions, where you bring in the new synthetic identity, they open a new account. That's where we see mule accounts being developed and formed and utilized to move money cross-border. You may create an account in the United States and move money to Mexico or to another high-risk jurisdiction. So a large one for today, and I think is a focus and a priority for those credit unions out there, is the synthetic identity fraud piece.
Well, so many good insights on what is going on in the world of fraud. And I love, what you're saying. Fraudsters never stop. They never rest. There's always somebody out there doing something. And so as financial institutions, as consumers, really important for us to be considering that as well. And from the banking community side, as we continue to embrace technology, I know generative AI has been everywhere in the news lately. We continue to embrace that technology overall, the speed and the freedom that it really offers us as financial institutions. Are there any threats that you would say come with that freedom too?
There certainly are. And I think with everybody's the now attitude, everyone wants to do a transfer of money, whether it be person to person, as we call P2P, or you want to do payment of a particular bill with a business, P2Bs, the speed at which that information moves and the ability not to draw back your money, say in these RTP worlds, that is a risk in and itself, where once the money's out of that institution's hands or out of your hands, it's very tough, if not impossible, to get that back. So with that speed, we need institutions, the credit unions out there, to be up to speed, to be able to monitor those real-time payments that people now want to do, whether they're walking the street or, again, on vacation, needing to pay a bill. With that speed, there certainly is that balance between the freedom, but certainly ensuring that what you have and who you're sending money to is who they say they are. With these automatic push payments, we know that a lot of institutions, with the change in regulations, back in the day, they wouldn't be liable for those losses. It would just be a loss in general. But now the institutions, the credit unions out there, are now having to backfill the losses that their customers endured. And it's not just the financial, it's reputational side as well. So there's a lot of different threats and repercussions from those threats out there if the credit unions and the institutions such as theirs don't take into account each and every day.
Well, you've talked about the day-to-day threats and the challenges that consumers and financial institutions, credit unions face. Is there anything that they can do or invest in to really help slow the spread of different threats and frauds out there? So from a consumer perspective or from a credit union perspective, what do you think that they should be doing?
Yeah, I'll talk about the consumer side first, because I think that is our main goal, is to have the credit unions educate the consumers, whether it be we see the spam calls, the telemarketers, or even those calls you think are legitimate where they talk about, hey, a family member's in need, they're in jail, they're injured, they need money right away, they need it now. We need to educate the individuals out there, the consumers, that these are fraudulent activities. We see texts as well, where coming in from an unknown number, but they seem legitimate, or notifications within text that you need to reply right away, or your account's going to be disabled, whether it be a utility bill or streaming service. I know I've got a lot of those as well. And safeguarding their devices. You got to ensure where you are, you have the right protocols in place so people can't tap into your phone and steal that PII information. From an FI standpoint, it's the same thing. Invest in newer advanced fraud monitoring, detection, and intervention solutions, which allows you to control the money before it leaves your institution, whether it be from a perspective of what we call an MFA challenge, where if this behavior for this individual doesn't seem their normal pattern, give it another challenge. Send the person a text or an email or a phone call to authenticate that particular transaction. And this should all happen under one roof. For a credit union, we know some of the groups are small, if not combined, for fraud in the BSA side. You need to have some sort of a holistic viewpoint in assessing those transactions across the whole spectrum. With that, behavior is a big thing for the institution to incorporate today, because rules-based monitoring is yesterday's news. You need something that's going to be able to indicate if this is normal behavior for Brian or for Lauren or for others, to pick out those anomalies that we see. You want to build in it for the FIs a solution that has advanced biometrics, where it's not just understanding the device you're on, but how you move your device, how long does it take you to log in usually. So a lot of different technological advances are out there that a solution needs to incorporate in order to be able to catch those fraudsters. Last but not least, I think, is strength in numbers, as I call it, where you want to have a solution out there that perhaps monitors millions, if not trillions of dollars, because with that increase in transactions becomes the increase in data and the knowledge of identifying particular fraud patterns within your institution or others as well. So I think those are the main areas that we need to really consider. And I hope that if you enjoyed the last 5 or 10 minutes, would be happy to entertain any questions you may have on the NICE Actimize side, to understand what a solution that I had mentioned looks like and how it works and how it might be able to save perhaps your credit union in fraud losses, if not identifying those particular fraud risks.
Absolutely. Well, we are going to link to Brian's contact information and that of his team at NICE Actimize. So anybody out there who's interested in learning more can get in touch pretty easily from the post here. Definitely sounds like, as credit unions have so many considerations, having a strong industry partner to work with on fraud and on preventing losses for their members can be really, really critical. So Brian, thank you so much for your time today. I hope to run into you in person sometime soon. And until then, stay well. And thank you so much for tuning in to the 3 Questions video interview series.